It's the end of the semester and we're all facing finals. This is a stressful time in a normal semester, but everyone knows this is not a normal semester. On top of the normal stress of finals, we have the added layer of stress which comes from isolation due to COVID. In this video, I am going to give you a basic anatomy of stress and a way to reframe the way you see stress so you can see it in a way that is healthy for you and useful for you. And I'm going to offer you some very strategic tools to use to address that stress and come out the other side strong. If you don't know me yet, this is Ruth Bomar. I'm an academic coach. I work with college students and I help you learn to learn so you can reach your academic goals. Let's get started. The first thing I want you to know is that you are thoroughly equipped to face finals. You have all the tools in your tool belt. You have taken exams before from this professor. You've done the readings. You've done the papers for this professor. You've attended lectures. You are in the best place that you can possibly be to prepare for finals. Way more prepared right now to face finals than you were 6 weeks ago. So let's roll our sleeves up and get busy. A little bit about stress. If you're feeling stress, I want you to know that it is a response. It is a response to a trigger. Our brains are designed, we are hardwired to identify danger and survive. So the part of our brain that identifies danger, is in charge of identifying danger, is your amygdala. Your amygdala is looking for things that are unusual, a different pattern, maybe something that could be threatening to your safety because we are hardwired to survive. Now, where your amygdala is identifying danger, whether it is a real danger, like an animal like this alligator or crocodile that could actually harm our physical body, or a perceived danger like a calculus exam or a philosophy exam. The response to either one is the same. It is a stress response. The other type of stress that I like to call the gap stress would be something like this. You are at point A, you need to be at point B, but in order to get there, there's a lot of things in the way. There's not enough time. The tasks are too huge. It's too overwhelming. It's too difficult. It's kind of like being asked to empty the ocean with 3 spoons. Pretty much an impossible task. This triggers stress. It feels like not enough. Not smart enough, not fast enough, not ready enough, not enough time. Just simply not enough. This causes stress. I'm going to invite you today to redefine stress. Change the way you see stress. I'm inviting you to see stress as energy. This is the energy that your body needs to address the problem, which is the perceived danger, and survive. Your whole body is at ready because of this stress trigger and the stress response. So stress can be viewed as energy that we need to get the job done. And today our job is to prepare for finals and finish the semester strong. A little overview of the basics of stress. If you look at your brain, you have a left hemisphere and a right hemisphere. In between those 2 hemispheres, you have your limbic system. And one little member of that limbic system is your amygdala. It's an almond-shaped gland. And that amygdala, the job of the amygdala is to identify danger, identify anything that is a threat, or it could be just something that is novel. So if your amygdala identifies something as danger, then it sends the message to the hypothalamus sends the message to the pituitary sends the message to the adrenals, and the adrenals produce adrenaline and cortisol and sets our whole body on alert to prepare to run, to fight, to freeze, and survive the threat. When we are at a stress response in response to a danger, our whole body gets lots of it's impacted. Our body is impacted. For example, our thoughts begin to race, our vision changes, our pupils dilate so we can see better. We might have dry mouth because our digestive system has been shutting down because we don't need to digest food when we're running away from this alligator or fighting this alligator. Our heart beats faster to get good blood to our large muscle groups. Our muscles become tense in order in preparation to pounce or to fight or to run. Our breathing becomes quick and shallow to get more oxygen into our system. Our palms become sweaty. So our whole body responds to the stress response, the stress trigger. Our whole body is at the ready. A little bit about the neurons in your brain. The neurons are the nerve cells in your brain, and what I want you to think about is in the nucleus. There's these branches that branch out from the nucleus, and every branch holds a bit of knowledge. So you're continually building branches when you read, when you listen to a lecture, when you study your notes, when you have a discussion, when you write a paper, any interaction with the world around you, whether it be academic interaction or simply living life, you are building dendrites. The capacity to build dendrites in each little neuron is pretty much infinitesimal. This is really good news. This is called neuroplasticity. This means that you have the capacity to learn what you need to learn to pass your finals. I hope this will encourage you. Now, when stress, the response has been triggered, if we are allowing that stress to escalate, it'll impede the brain's ability to access the knowledge in the dendrites. And you'll forget what you learned, or you won't be able to make the connections. You won't find the information that you know you studied because the dendrites have shriveled just a little bit because all that good blood has been redirected to your large muscle groups. So when you're in a high stress situation, you really can't remember what you studied last night or last week. Another thing I want you to think about is the oscillations of the body. The body has a beat. It has a rhythm. Think about your breathing. Think about your heartbeat. Think about the ups and downs of the function of your pancreas. Think about your circadian rhythms. When you're awake, when you're asleep. During your sleep, you have sleep cycles. During your awake, you have ups and downs in your energy. Your digestion has a cycle or an oscillation. So it's very normal for our bodies to have an up and down in its functioning. Same thing with our stress cycle. That's why it's called a cycle. We cycle on and then we have to cycle down again. If we stay on, if our stress response stays at a high alert, if it stays on continually, then we have unhealthy situations going on in our body and we won't be able to use our brain, find the information in our dendrites. So we're wanting to engage with that stress cycle and bring that cycle down. We're not wanting to get rid of stress or treat stress as something that is harmful or something that we want to get rid of. It's part of our body. It's part of our system. We want to work with it. Hence, I want you to view it as energy. The energy you need to survive. The energy you need to solve this problem. Now, if stress is the energy to address a problem, your basic self-care, these Power 3 foundational self-care principles are the raw material. Sleep, nutrition, and movement. If you don't take care of these basic three, it's like having 4 flat tires. That car just isn't going anywhere. And we know that sleep, nutrition, and exercise are the first things to go out the window when you get to college and even when you start preparing for finals. It's just hard to say, I've got to take the time to work out, and it's, I don't have time to work out, I've got to study. Or I don't have time to sleep, I've got to study. Well, when you make that choice, when you choose to not eat or not sleep or not exercise when you're preparing for finals, it's kind of like having 4 flat tires. Your car isn't going to go very far at all. Now, this is a very basic component of stress management. This is accessing your prefrontal lobe, the CEO of your brain, and making a goal with a very specific plan. The components of your plan is engaging in organizing your tasks, managing your time, connecting your energy with your task, organizing your materials, as well as having very specific study strategies. This is what I spend a lot of time on with my students throughout the semester, is getting a very specific goal with a step-by-step action plan to reach those goals. We're at the point of the meat of today's video. This is what I call be kind to your brain. These 3 strategies are is the icing on the cake. Well, that's not really the icing on the cake. This is the deal breaker. If you have a good plan, if you have a good foundation, self-care, and you're not being kind to your brain, this can make all the difference. First of all, remember, we're wanting to bring that stress cycle down. We want to cycle on and cycle off. And a good way to cycle off is to think about something that you're grateful for. The research shows us that when we are grateful, we trigger some chemicals in our brain that increases the brain's capacity for creative thinking. And creative thinking is what you need to solve a problem and find solutions. So gratitude is an essential part of bringing that stress cycle down and using this energy called stress to accomplish your goal or to solve your problem. A break is also a way to stop that escalating stress level in your brain and in your blood system. And a break, by definition, is doing something different. So if your work is on your laptop and you've been on your laptop for a good chunk of time, a break would be doing something that is not on the screen, something totally different, like maybe a walk outside in the sunshine, maybe just sitting in the sunshine, maybe some jumping jacks, maybe even taking a shower. Now, a break gives the brain time to digest the information and make sense of what you're studying and thinking and make those good connections. So your brain never stops working or thinking even when you take a break, but you're allowing the brain time to make those good connections. That also happens when you sleep. When you sleep, you're allowing your brain to make some good, healthy connections of the things that you studied during the day. Another big component of being kind to your brain is breathe. Now, this sounds very simple and very, it's too simple to be true. But what breathing does is that it brings down that, remember that shallow, quick breathing that happens when we are in a stress response? It brings the breathing down. It becomes very purposeful. Our brains are designed to respond to danger. We're hardwired to find danger first and survive first. That's our default setting. So to help our brain focus on we're not in danger, we're okay, we're going to survive, breathing will tell your brain, hey, all clear, all good. So the breathing in to a count to 5, breathing out to a count to 5. Like breathe in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, breathe out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And get that nice breathing, that nice rhythmic breathing will send that message to the brain that we can turn off the adrenaline flow and keep stress at a low level, not necessarily at high alert. So in summary, I want you to see stress as energy, the energy you need to solve the problem. I want you to incorporate the basic foundation of managing stress, which is your basic self-care needs, as well as a goal and a plan. And the deal breaker here is being kind to your brain. Take a gratitude break and breathe. I think you can do this. I believe that you can finish this semester strong. This is Ruth Bomar. I am your online academic coach.